you go to drjohnb.com, you're going to find out all kind of information on our next guest. Every Tuesday we talk to him, Dr. John Braccio, and you'll get a little information your own self about helping yourself, because ultimately we're in charge of helping ourselves. We can't rely totally on someone else just to take care of it. And if you don't have the right tools to do that, though, then there's a problem. That's why you work kind of in partnership. So regional psychological services. Hatred is one of those things, it's all on you. If you think about it, true hatred, if you really hate somebody, which is, Mama used to say, well, that's a strong word. It really is, because true, pure hatred means you wish nothing but bad for them. You most likely don't know their entire story or understand them. And ultimately, it hurts you both mentally and physically. We're going to get into that with Dr. John Braccio, Dr. John B. on the web. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Well, very good, Mike. Always good to talk with you. And good topic today in terms of hatred, because persons who hate have made the choice to self-destruct themselves psychologically, physically, and spiritually. Hatred is like an acid that slowly destroys the person's outlook and ability to function effectively in life. The true tragedy of hatred is that it clearly destroys the hater far more than the person who is hated. The person who is hated goes on living their life and often could care less that they're hated by someone. The hatred can be so deep, Mike, that the person will not give it up and is willing amazingly to experience all the negativity that comes through being hateful. I think it is safe to say that most persons do not like being around persons who are haters. It is even biblical that an angry person does foolish things. Typical bad outcomes for a person who hates is that they're actually allowing another person to live inside them and take destructive control over them. To me, the idea that someone would actually allow someone to control their emotions is hard to believe, but haters allow this every day. Other destructive parts of being a hater would include a type of psychological poisoning where the person allows themselves to take the good parts of them, poisoned, and push them, out in this destructive hate. Another casualty to hatred is to a person who is not having compassion for persons because their hatred doesn't allow them to see the good in people and only allows them to see negativity. It also is true that haters ultimately cannot love themselves because their extreme hatred is such that it consumes them psychologically and doesn't allow them to enjoy life or love anybody or anything. For clarification, Mike, I'm not talking about the person who just has some anger and it comes and goes no, not that at all, just on how they're treated day to day. No, I'm talking about the destructive anger, hatred that destroys the person's psyche and often ruins their relationships with those they would reasonably want to have good ones. The solution for hating is to recognize it is far more destructive to the hater than it is to the person being hated. Persons need to love themselves and others and to find good in life, to lead happy lives and really extinguish this hatred that's so destructive of themselves and those they encounter. This really isn't an easy thing to do if someone's been a hater for long periods of time. However, it is something we must do so that we can have strong physical and emotional self. There's no reasonable choice if one looks at the choice of negativity by being a hater versus being a person who seeks love and forgiveness in self and others. And, even if forgiving is the goal of a person for their best mental health, the minimum for a person is to let real and perceived wrong done to you go and recognize allowing your hatred of others to live within you and take control even is unacceptable and only causes you great psychological, physical, and spiritual havoc. So really the key thing is don't allow hatred to destroy you. You may be angry and really frustrated with life and carrying this burden within you, but it destroys you. It will destroy you in all ways. So it's really important to work for love, for caring, for finding positive in life, and not allowing others to literally live in your head and cause you great havoc and cause you problems, Mike. Just can't let it happen.
And I think probably we have a misinformation or misunderstanding about what hate is, because you hear that word a lot. Well, you're just a hater. You're just because I disagree with you, just because I I don't like your lifestyle doesn't mean I hate you. Hatred, I
No.
think, does hatred, a component of actual hatred, mean that you wish someone harm?
I think so. When a person hates someone, I don't mean, again, I don't know if they're really, I don't want to go that far saying they want them physically damaged or hurt, but
Right.
they hate the person so deeply that they don't want good for them. But the focus is, it's really an internal focus. They so hate this person, that's all they can think about. It can consume them. And there are people that carry a lot of hatred in life. And it can be even over small things. They hate people. They hate life. They're just kind of woe is me. And if you have that, now the extreme, of course, would be that you want to hurt somebody and you do it. But there just are these haters out there. You've known them. These are the negative people. They find fault with everything, and they really have deep feeling negativity towards their parents, towards some
Mm-hmm.
friends, towards
Mm-hmm.
family, towards people they work with, towards people they encounter. They feel they haven't been treated fairly, and it just burns them. They will wish bad on others. They don't want them to continue being successful or leading a happy life, because the hater often can see the person they hate is quite happy, not even aware of what's going on, or could care less.
Yeah.
Makes the statement in effect, hey, if you're going to choose to hate me over something I did, or you think I did, or you're overstating what I've done, then ultimately that's your choice. And there are people that even tell them they're sorry, and it's not enough. Oh no, what you said or did is so bad it cannot be forgiven. And there are people that have done bad things to us. Don't hear me wrong. It's not that people don't have reason to really be upset, but when it starts destroying your insides, and you're living the years and the days, the months, and minutes, whatever it might be, just carrying this load of anger and hatred for another person, it's really destructive. It really is. And we run into these people. We may not be thinking about it, but those that find the negativity, those that are angry, they're mad at a parent. I mean, there are a lot of people that are mad at their parents, okay? And not that parents have not done inappropriate things, but they're just views that they may have, and they can't get over it. I mean, they're just so angry. Or it can be friends, ex-friends, people that they feel have betrayed them. And it may all be true. Some of these things may be true. People may have been betrayed. They may have been treated unfairly. But you can't live your life focusing on that. You have to move forward, find blue skies and the bright sunlight and warmth and peace. Those are the things you have to look for. You don't want to say, well, I think I'm going to go ruin today by being mad at Chucky or Mary, like that, or somebody, some governmental system, whatever.
And Chucky isn't going to care. Chucky is going to do his thing, and he's going to go. Charlie Kirk's wife came out, and she actually said she forgives the guy.
Yes, she did.
Because you talk about carrying that around. She had every right to hate that guy, I think. But God love her, she's a better person than me.
Well, she definitely, yes, said that she's letting that go. She's a spiritual person too. But that was something, letting the person, in a way that even though this was done to him, horrible as it is, I'm going to forgive and let that go. I mean, that's a pretty amazing thing to do, and hard to do if you really, particularly something like that. I mean, that's really an extreme kind of, someone assassinated, murdered, killed, that type thing. But in the long run, Mike, hating is it's really an acid that it just destroys the image and hurts your relationships with everyone else. Because when you have this hatred, you're not a jolly, cheerful, ho ho ho, kind of a person. You're a ha 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 kind of a person.
Those people get on my nerves too. But
well, that could be. But on the other hand, you're going to enjoy the happy person who thinks they have the world on a string, if you will, versus the negative one. Oh, I just hate Chucky. He thinks he's so cool, or Mary, or whatever it might be, or this person did this to me. And you say, when did that happen? Well, 38 years ago. You say, well, can you kind of let it go now? It's time to move on. But no, people can hold hate, and it does negatively impact you in terms of, in terms of blood pressure, in terms of not being able to sleep, in terms of finding negativity and everything. And this is not good for your mental health, for your spiritual health, in terms of how you view the world, in terms terms of all the ways you can lead a life, whether it doesn't matter psychologically, physically, spiritually. It's going to have a real negative impact on you, and it's really destructive, terrible, like this thing eating at you. So if you just have to make the choice, I'm not going to allow it to happen. Go ahead.
But making that choice is hard to do on your own, which is why you need somebody to sit with privately, talk with. This is where you come in, Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services. Seriously, though, I mean, you sit with somebody who has a deep hatred, let's say, for a sister or a brother who, they did them wrong in mom's will or something like that.
Sure.
How long does it take before they sit and talk with you, and then do you ever have to bring the other person in? Boy, that'd be fire.
Particularly, you mentioned that as an example. That's really more common than you might think, and often that severs the relationship for a lifetime, and people do have this hatred and these bad feelings. People just have to realize, we all have to realize we have to let things go. And again, we may not be like Charlie Kirk's wife, where we can allow something like that to forgive, but to try to let things go and realize it destroys you. It doesn't mean you approve of how someone treated you. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you're not going to allow it to destroy your life. And if you can forgive and let go, that's going to be better for you. Because remember, the person that you're angry and you hate, they're eventually, that may bother them for a time, but they're going to move on. And you're the one left carrying this tremendous anger, and you really can't do that. You need love and caring and compassion, and even trying to even look at why someone may have done something very inappropriate. It could be out of greed, it could be out of whatever it might be. And someone might not even have tried to do something, but they did inadvertently cause you a lot of havoc. But life, you can't live a life burdened by the past or things you feel people did do or they did do to you. You have to move on in life if you want to be happy and have satisfaction. And a lot of people they choose not to. They actually carry this hatred and anger, and it can impact in all aspects, relationships, work, because no one really wants to be working with, someone who's always angry. Look at that person. Look how these people think. Yeah. And just, this bitter, and it affects the way they look, the way they behave. It's just hatred's a very horrible, evil, call it whatever word you want to do, that really destroys you. And for those that will say, and I would agree, they've been treated inappropriately, things have happened that have been bad and occurred because of it. All of that may be true, but hating only will cause you havoc, where you've got to move on and get a new slate and just say, hey, moving forward, and I'm not going to allow that to destroy me. You're allowing that person to live in your head, Mike. I mean, they're controlling you long after they did whatever you think they did.
Some would say, Doc, that in my head there's a lot of room so they could move right in. But there's that. Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services. Again, don't try to go through this stuff on your own, because it's a minefield. You need some help. That's where Dr. John Braccio and his whole staff come in. At drjohnb.com on the web. Hey, Doc, we're up on time. I appreciate it, though. Good. You and I will get back together in a week. How about that?
Sounds good, my friend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See ya. 1320 WILS, your morning wake up. Mike Austin right back with you here in a second.